What is up, everybody? It is Eternal here, and I'm doing a guide, and there's going to be some Raid Shadow Legends. Right, today the guide is going to be on this guy, Warlord. He is an absolutely fantastic Void legendary, and he's just amazing. He's usable in so many different places, and he's just very versatile. So let's get into it. Okay, so if we go into his skills, here's A1. It's called Bludgeon. It attacks one enemy, and it has a 25% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target. This is so strong. This goes up to a 40% chance here, but it is not influenced, as far as I'm aware, by the sniper passive. Now this can be incredibly strong, particularly on places like the clan boss. Increasing the duration of debuffs is very, very, very strong. He's not as strong as Vizier, obviously, but he's, you know, him and Septimus are pretty solid debuff extenders, and yeah, his A1 is amazing. If you pair this with counter attack, you're kind of you're in for a good time. His A2, Protection of Gods. This is again a fantastic ability. It places a shield equal to 30% of this champion, so Warlord's health, on all allies. Restores all allies' HP by 25%, and it places a blocks debuff for one turn. Now, basically, because of the way that this works, the HP on Warlord being higher is going to increase the shield amount, so you're going to want to build him with a lot of HP, basically. That's all you need to know there. Now, this ability is, again, fantastic. Creating faction wars, arena, dungeons. It's really solid. It attacks all enemies, and if you book it up, it's a 100% chance to put each target's skill on cooldown. It has a 30% chance to fully deplete each target's turn meter. Now, obviously, this chance goes up, so it's up to 60% here. So you've got a 100% chance to lock their skills, put it on cooldown, and a 6% chance to fully deplete each target's turn meter. So kind of like a Razin ability there, with that AoE turn meter reduction, but more of a hedgy with the skill on cooldown. So it's cooldown rather than lock, but it's just fantastic. His aura, ally resist in all battles. Resist is kind of okay, but it's nothing to phone home about. But he's just got a really solid set of skills, and because of this, he is a top tier Void legendary. He's just a really fantastic character. So yeah. Now we're going to go into his Masteries and the way I've got him set up, and then we'll have a look at the gear, and there's a bit of play there, but you'll see. Okay, so next up we have Warlord's Masteries. Now I'm just going to hide myself here so you can see. Now I've gone for the defense and offense tree route. The reason being, you can pick up deterrence and also retribution, and basically just having the ability to possibly counterattack and extend, landing that A1 and potentially getting some more debuff extensions, just really, really solid. So I've gone for that route. So it's kind of a generic retribution deterrence kind of route here. And then I've gone for a fairly standard, crit rate, crit damage, kind of straight down to War Master here. Now, I've gone for, a little bit of Life Drinker there. You can kind of pick up whatever you want. Heart of Glory is another option as well. It's kind of a more standard route, but it's a fairly standard mastery tree for Warlord, nothing too fancy. But I've just found that going for the debuff extension and then just down to just rushing down to War Master seems to work pretty well. Okay, so that's his Masteries. This is where he's, got a lot more flexibility. Like Masteries, you can kind of do whatever you want, that's fine. But gear, you've really got some free reign here. I've actually gone with the Stalwart set here, which I don't normally use, but since Warlord has a built-in AoE heal and shield, I found that damage reduction on him seems to work okay. As long as he's alive, he's able to heal himself and all of his allies on clan boss and places like dungeons, so I just figured reducing AoE damage seems like the way to go. And then I've just gone for a speed set here. So I'll just show you the current stats that I've got him at. You could definitely go for more health, but I've tried to get a decent amount of HP, defense as well. So the HP is worth more, because otherwise, the clan boss will just target him and ping him down. That's no good. He's got, a nice amount of speed there, 227, and of course a good amount of accuracy to actually land the debuff extension and all of his debuffs. So it is worth noting that his A1 does need accuracy to increase duration, and then of course to put targets on his cooldown, skills on cooldown, and deplete turn meter also needs accuracy. So you really need accuracy on this guy, and yeah, it's just like the #1 priority. So in terms of stat order, in terms of what's important, I'd probably say accuracy, HP, speed, defense, and then everything else is kind of depends where you're using him. If you're going for a really high resistance arena team, you're going to need resistance. I don't think he's really going to be doing a lot of damage with crit and crit damage. I haven't tried to build him that way, so maybe that's something you can consider. But generally, he's there kind of more as a utility rather than a damage dealer. So like I said, I've got him set up in Stalwart. So I've gone for defense, HP, and speed. You could obviously change this up in a counter attack, so you could go perhaps HP, HP, defense, or defense, defense, HP. For these bottom three here, it's kind of up to you. But I've kind of got a nice defense and HP roll on his shoes, so it's not too bad. But just because he benefits from HP so much, I would definitely recommend trying to get a 60% HP in at least one of these slots, and both when you can. And then I'll probably stick one defense in there if you're using him in places like Clan Boss, just because he will become a bit of a liability, particularly if you're not using any sort of lifesteal gear here, or you've got maybe someone like Battle on your team to really sustain. He will potentially become a bit squishy, and you might find that his healing is a little bit, it's a little bit not redundant, but it's not quite enough to keep him sustained himself. So now we're going to have a look at his general usability and where I'm using him and where I find him to be good. So I'm going to start off by going to the arena. He is a really, really good arena character. In gold, obviously he's all the way up to gold 4, amazing. But even heading into platinum, you'll see him used quite a lot. Now I'm just going to run these on auto because I don't really need to play them. But you'll see there his A2, sorry, it's A3 there. That's his A3, really, really strong. So I've just depleted their turn meter, just gone in and whacked them all. And then he heals and he puts a blocks debuff buff on him and all his allies. That is so strong. So he is an absolute arena beast. Really, really great utility, turn meter reduction and also that blocks debuff. Really solid, really, really solid. And because I've got him set in Stalwart, he actually takes less damage from all these AoE hits too. This team doesn't actually have a revive on it at the moment. It's a bit of a weird team, but it kind of does the job. And I really like a Warlord in there. It's really nice. So yeah, I think he's an absolutely fantastic arena character. And just being void, he doesn't weak hit and things like that. It just makes such a difference. So he can kind of steamroll arena generally, so long as your team is fast enough to actually get a turn in. So if I go first here, 2 turn meter reductions there, and then it's just a cleanup, and it's just so easy. Particularly in this meta at the moment, it just seems to work really well. And yeah, arena he is really good for, and he gets the seal of approval for that. Okay, so next up we're going to look at like the dungeon aspect and where he can be used in terms of dungeons. He can be used in Spider. I don't think he's the best choice. I'd probably use him in a slower team, a bit like this. However, the issue with the shield is Frank and his shield, I don't believe they stack. So he can be used in somewhere like this in a slower team, but I just feel like Miscreated is just a lot better, and maybe a Razin makes more sense here for the AoE. I don't know, maybe not. Like, I usually run a Tyrell here, who's got a more reliable turn meter reduction. Warlord can certainly be used in Spider, okay? Probably not the best place to use him, but he can be used there. I don't feel like this is where he really shines. Ice Golem, however, different story. This guy is really good in Ice Golem. My Ice Golem team sucks, but I'm going to do a run here and we're going to run through. I'll show you some of the waves, just because the second wave in particular can be a little bit hard for some people. This isn't a particularly fast team, however, putting Warlord in here, I do believe reduced my overall Ice Golem team. It's not really somewhere I'm worried about or focus on though, so yeah, you'll see. But when it comes to the boss, he does help your team survive, so really useful there. So this is the second wave in Ice Golem. This is with these Terror Beasts, since they got a buff with the reflect damage, it's where it's kind of the notorious wave. So running somebody like a Warlord and a Frank, like I feel like Frank is just so strong, but Warlord with the block debuffs can be really nice too. Particularly when it comes to the boss, it can be quite handy. But yeah, you'll see the run's kind of slowish, but it does help get through the waves. So I do feel like Ice Golem is somewhere that he's really useful. So I'm at the boss now. Boss is where Warlord is really good. You can block the debuffs that, well, if he wants to use the ability, you can block the debuffs that are placed on your guys. So that's really nice. And he can help to mitigate some of the damage and also heal back up after the big AoE that the boss does. So I've got like an Ally Protect, it blocks debuff there. You can always run somebody else like a Blind Seer who's got Revive instead of Warlord, and that's got, similar, kind of comparable. Doesn't have the heal though, it has the shield instead. But yeah, Ice Golem is somewhere that Warlord can work. Yeah, it kind of works, right? Like I said, I don't really like Ice Golem. The runs tend to take a while. Okay, so just killed the boss there, 3 minutes 14, which is actually faster than most of my runs, to be honest. Unfortunately, the gear is garbage, so that sells. But yeah, so this sort of setup does work. Warlord's useful in the team. I don't know if he's essential, but he definitely helps. So I definitely think he's usable in Ice Golem. He helped my time at least. Next place. So Ice Golem, yes, he's good here. Spider, he is usable. Dragons. So the thing with dragons is I think you can use anyone in dragons. So of course he's usable here. My normal team, and this is kind of a filler spot. So I would say yes, he's definitely usable in dragons, particularly earlier on coming up. He'll be useful. More on the waves, so you've got some healing, some a shield. You've got turn meter reduction. You've got a lot of good things that will help you on the waves here. But the number one key thing for dragons is always revive. If you've got a revive, the runs are so much easier. Now, if you're going for speed runs, you're probably not going to run Warlord just because you want more damage and more damage and more damage. So you probably want like a Royal Guard or something there instead. Unfortunately, I don't have Royal Guard, so I can just run anyone in this 5th spot. Do I think Warlord is an option? Yes, I do think he's an option in Dragon, particularly coming up and pushing the content. Do I think he's going to help you on speedruns? No. So that's kind of my analysis of Warlord. Yes, he's usable, like a lot of other champions. Your Blind Seers, your Arbiters, your Miscreated Monsters. Do you need him? No, I don't think you need him. But like I say, he can work, and that's fine. I feel like my Arbiter's going to die here. What's going on? But I don't think he's an essential. Okay, so like I said, man, my Arbiter is. I normally run like Sinesha in this spot here for the heals and stuff, but okay, is Arbiter fine? I think Arbiter's okay. There we go. Right, so yeah, like this run, not particularly fast, but Warlord is helping to get through it, and they're dead again. Oh man. But yeah, there we go. Once you get to the boss, like I think Venus can solo the boss here, so it's really no concern just because of the lifesteal she's got. So yeah, Warlord can be used here. He is not top tier here though, so just bear that in mind when you are using him. So like I said, not the best. 2 minutes 22. Is he usable? Yes. Would I recommend him here? Probably not. And now for the finale. So he is usable in all of these dungeons. And I think in Fire Knight he does quite well here actually. He's actually part of my my normal team, my full Void team here, which is like a pimp team. But Warlord actually works really well here. He's got the turn meter reduction, he helps you get through the waves. When you get to the boss, he can debuff extend. He's got a nice shield and that blocks buff. The blocks debuff buff that the Fire Knight will he tries to reduce your HP each time he does his big wham. Having a blocks debuff buff actually stops that. It's considered a debuff. So Warlord can be really, really nice here. Really great champion. I do like him in Fire Knight. So you've obviously got to have the right sort of team, like the cold hearts for the healing reduction and the termage reduction and everything. But he is a part of that team right now, so I feel like this is a good place for him, and it's somewhere where he, his skills can be really put to the test. Okay, so we're at the boss now. Now this is finite, really the part that people are going to find tricky. Now, I highly recommend, unless you're going for like counter attack setup or something, to have a revive like Arbiter, just because, if you're bringing cold hearts, they're probably going to die, so you're either trying to keep them alive or revive them, or doing a little bit of both, which is kind of what I'm doing here. So the crux of this team, definitely the cold hearts. We've got a weaken and a decreased defense there we go. But it's the turn meter reduction, really strong. Multi-hitters, 2 multi-hitters here, really nice. And then turn meter reduction, it just makes this fight so much easier. So even if, see, wham, dead, cool. Cold hearts are definitely amazing for here. But Warlord brings quite a bit of utility, more than, like, if I take this guy out of the team, I can fail these runs. So yeah, Warlord works really well in Finite. Okay, and certainly last, but definitely not least, we've got the Clan Boss. Warlord works really nice here. This is just going to be a Nightmare run, so I'm just going to claim out my rewards here and see what I get. Nothing too great, and a little basic book, nice. So Nightmare. So at the moment I've got a Sepulture, Frozen Banshee, Apothecary. I was trying Whisper just to see what she was like post Relentless nerf, not fantastic, just a little TLDR there. Venus and Warlord. Warlord being an extender, and he works really well with Frozen Banshee, Venus and Sepulture. There's a lot of nice synergy there. Obviously Apothecary would be switched out for a counter attack here, so whatever you've got, if you've got a better team, that's great. I don't have a counter attack, so this is a speed team. Unfortunately it's Force Affinity where I do struggle on a little bit. I find that I do better on any of the other 3 affinities actually. So I'm going to just run this on auto. I'm not going to be playing this. I'll only cut the keys short if I need to for damage sake. But I'll let this run through and I'll show you the damage at the end. So this is a full auto team, but Warlord works really well here. The heal is nice. When he gets the extensions, they're really nice. See if we can actually see him. See debuff extension there. Just saw all the durations got by 1. That is what I'm bringing him for. The heal, and again, he's a little bit random. Like, he doesn't always land them. He's not a Vizier, but you can definitely get some really nice damage out of this guy if you bring him along. I've actually booked him, but I've omitted the his A3. I got really lucky. His A3 is mostly for Arena. Now, I haven't fully booked it. I've got the percentages and everything, but not the cooldown. Now, that means he's going to A1 a little bit more often than he would, because there's going to be an extra turn for that cooldown. It's going to be on cooldown for an extra turn. So I'm going to leave him like that as well, because I use him in Clan Boss. I use him in Arena too, but just because I use him in Clan Boss, I feel like I'll get a little bit more damage out of him by not booking the Orcus Rituals, particularly on auto. So if you're manualing, it's no issue, but if you're autoing, like most people probably want to, then if possible, don't get that ability there. And you can see the defensive tree Masteries coming in there, so he actually counter-attacked when Frozen Banshee got stunned there, so just you'll see some of the Masteries being used here as well, so it's really nice. But anyway, I'll skip to the end of this for you lot, and you can see, like I said, this is a weaker affinity, so I'm not going to do great here, but we can see what sort of damage he can help to put out, and kind of how he can work. Okay, so coming to the end of the run here, 18.5 million right now, probably get about 19 or maybe scrape 20 if I'm really lucky. Like I said, Force Affinity is definitely not my strong point with this team, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, so it's a 2-boss, it's a 2-key kind of territory boss run, for the Clan Boss. Even on a run that I'm, it's not my strongest, I'm still edging into that 2-key kind of territory there. So yeah, clan boss, Warlord can be really nice on. It's somewhere that he works pretty well. I don't know if I'd say it's his absolute strongest point. I feel like Arena might be one of his strongest places, maybe an Ice Golem perhaps, but I do like him in Clan Boss, and I think he's a really good extender. Like I said, not Vizier, but you know, really good. Faction Wars as well, he can be really great in this place, in the Orc Crypt, but yeah, that's pretty much Warlord, so let me know what you think. What kind of gear are you using him? Where are you using him? What sort of success have you found with him? Like Arena, like I said, I really like this guy in Arena. You know, just as long as you've got a lot of accuracy on him and you've got him set up, I'll just quickly show you everything, you know, so you can just have a look back if you need to. So kind of stats that I've got on this guy, on his gear, and you've seen the kind of performance that I'm getting out of him. So I am using him in Clan Boss, Arena, and Finite mainly. But yeah, let me know what you think. Where are you finding that he's really great for you? And you know, if you've just pulled him, congratulations. You know, if it's probably a 2 times void event you get him. That's typically the way. But yeah, I hope you found these useful, and I will see you in the next video, whichever or whenever that may be. Take care.